first video didn't fare too well on my channel, so this is my second attempt at trying to make it in this niche and get some views on some of my videos. Today I'll be reading some more Reddit stories for you guys from the subreddit Am I the A-hole? These stories hopefully should be more interesting than the last video, and I hope you can use this video to focus while you're doing chores, while you're doing your homework, or while you're eating. Alright, let's get into the Reddit stories. So this first Reddit story is titled, Am I the A-hole for asking to live with the parent who cheated? My 14M parents are getting a divorce because mom found texts from a coworker on dad's phone that were extremely raunchy, and she confronted him and found out he's having an affair with her. She's been dragging it out for a while because she wants to make it as painful as possible. I'm pretty angry at him about it because it was an awful thing to do to our mom, but then things got a lot more complicated and I feel like I don't have any good options. Alright, let me pause that story right there. If your dad was just found out that he was cheating with his coworker, why do you think you wouldn't have any good options? The only option is to stay with your mom. The only option is to side with your mom. I don't think you would have the option to side with your dad. But that was the title of this post, so let's move on. Mom found out one of my mates is trans, and she freaked out and told me I couldn't see him, and she thought he was sick, and she kept calling him she, and got upset when I corrected her, and she said something about all the woke alphabet weirdos and all that, and I finally told her, Mom, I'm gay, because I thought she'd understand more if she knew I was gay. And then she got even angrier and flipped out and kept saying I'm just confused and brainwashed by wokeness and whatever. And she made me really uncomfortable, so I called Dad, and he came and got me and took me to his flat. Now Mom's kind of apologized, but not really, because she's talking about fixing this, and she wants me to talk to a pastor because she joined a church a couple of years ago that's not Hillsong, but it's a lot like Hillsong, and Dad says that's conversion to therapy, and he's really angry about it. Okay, from this second part, I mean, it was pretty poorly written, I'm not gonna lie. So basically the mom found out that one of his friends was trans and he came out to her and she's upset now? Okay. Well, I guess that provides some background to why he feels like there aren't any good options, whether he wants to side with his mom, who was a bit too conservative and didn't really support his stance or his decision to be gay, and I guess he wants to side with his dad because his dad's more open-minded about that kind of stuff. So, but let's continue. Dad moved in with a coworker he slept with and asked if I want to go with him, and I said yeah, and she's really nice to me and says there's nothing wrong with being gay, and I know I'm supposed to hate her because she slept with a married man, but I kind of like her because she's really nice to me. Now we're supposed to decide who wants to live with who, and I said I wanted to live with Dad. I'm angry at Dad, but Mom doesn't accept me for being gay, and it's really toxic around her, and I really don't want to live with her. My brother, who is 16, says I'm an a-hole, and I'm being disloyal to Mom, and that I should be cutting Dad off. He's also started to say the same stuff about me being gay, being a disease, which Mom also says, and I don't want to live with either of them either. Then Mom rang me last night, and she was crying and said she wanted me back, but then I asked if she was okay with me being gay, and she went back to saying I was confused and hung up. Am I the a-hole? Okay, a lot to unpack here, but I think it's very crucial that OP recognizes that his dad cheated on his mom. Like, that's still a really big thing, and it's adultery. I know how hard it can be when your parents are toxic about who you are and they're denying how you feel or how you feel about yourself. And I guess in a way that I mean I can kind of see both sides of the coin. Still, I think that Opie should be siding with his mom regardless. His dad might have accepted him and his mistress might have accepted him, but I don't think that's the right decision, because in the end the dad still committed, like, he's still committed to cheating on his mom. So me personally, I would just stick with my mom and pay no attention to my dad. regardless of what my mom thinks about me. That can be a discussion for another day. As long as I stand by with my mom and I stick with her and I show her that I'm loyal to her, I think that's a much better outcome than having to side with my dad, who's obviously a cheater. But that's my 2 cents. I don't know. You guys could talk about it in the comments. Alright, moving on to the next story. This one is called, Am I the a-hole for making my daughter pay for her own college testing and applications because she was caught cheating? I received a call to pick up my daughter Lily because she had been caught cheating on her practice SAT. After arriving, I learned Lily's friend Sam had also been caught cheating. Her score was cancelled, but thankfully, Lily will still be allowed to retake the test, and this has not gone under any kind of record. When I talked to Lily about what happened, she told me that Sam's mother was going to punish Sam if she didn't earn an exceptionally high score, and Sam had, in turn, put pressure on my daughter to help her cheat. I have held for a long time that Sam is not a genuine friend to Lily, and has been trying to hold my daughter back to feel better about her own poor choices, and I had spoken to Lily about this before, and to not let Sam manipulate her into anything she knows is wrong. Lily told me that she had understood, yet did this. I told Lily that, to prove that she will take her education seriously from now on, she will need to come up with the fee for her future tests and college applications on her own. I suggested she start working odd jobs, such as babysitting or dog walking for the neighbors, to save up early. Despite telling me she understood, the time to register for the next test is approaching, and my daughter asked me to pay because she is short on cash, and her school will not offer the test again until spring. Ooh. She brought up the original excuse that Sam pressured her into cheating. I told my daughter, no, I am not going back on my word, and she will learn to treat these opportunities with respect once she has to earn it herself. Fair. So far, the mom has been pretty good about this kind of stuff. I think, so far I don't think she's the a-hole. I also told Lily that she needs to stop letting Sam manipulate her, and if she can't stand up to her, then maybe she doesn't have the mental maturity for college. Our extended family became involved in the disagreement and are insisting that we cover the fee because it's for her education and it's important for college. I am not allowing them to cover the fee for Lily because it's undermining my lesson. Inevitably, someone pretending to be her friend is going to pressure her to cheat again in college. Very true. Then when she gets caught again, I will wind up losing thousands of dollars and Lily will lose her shot at a good education. Her college journey won't last long, regardless, unless she learns responsibility now. Even though she spent her money poorly and doesn't have enough now, she will be able to wait and test in spring, even if it's a less convenient time for her. Am I the a-hole for putting my foot down with Lily and our extended family? Alright, there are a few updates to this story. I'll read them now. So the OP was answering comments in her original post. Lily is now a junior in high school. Taking the test in spring will not delay Lily's college applications. If she takes the test in spring, or even decides to retry during the summer, her score will still be available for her to use by the time fall applications roll around. I have also broken down the math in multiple comments already. Lily had and still has ample time and opportunity to save up. If she spends her money wisely this time, she will have more than enough to cover the fees, especially as these are the only expenses she will need to cover. Alright, so far, I think her daughter's a junior in high school. She's not, like, she's got another year until she has to get to college. I think OP's not the a-hole for that, because I think if you put your foot down and teach you need to teach your children respect and responsibility and accountability of their own actions. Like, if they want to do some dumb stuff, then fine, like, they can do that on their own accord, but they need to be responsible for those actions, in my opinion. And I think Opie's doing a great thing here by putting her foot down, both with Lily and her extended family. She doesn't want to get bullied into paying for her test again just for Lily to cheat on it again, get kicked out, get her scores invalidated. I think there really is no other way out than having to put your foot down and deny your daughter of that payment, I guess, that payment for her exams, even though those are going to be integral. I think because she has the time to earn the money back and to take the test herself, I think it's still a very reasonable thing that OP is doing right here. I think she's being a very good mom, teaching her daughter responsibility and accountability for her actions. Alright, moving on to the next story. This one is titled, "Am I the a-hole for mocking my coworker after her boyfriend of 3 years cheated on her? I'm currently in college, working for the summer at a small company in South Carolina. However, I am originally from New York. My first day at work, I met the 2 women who I would be sharing an office with. One woman, Madison, is only 2 years older than me. When I first met them both, they seemed very friendly and asked a bunch of questions. I told them I was from New York, and Madison said, 'Oh, we're not going to get along. I hate people from the north.' I thought she was joking, so I sort of laughed it off. Well, it turns out she wasn't kidding. Over the last 2 months or so that I've worked there, Madison has complained about Yankees a lot. Her most common complaints are, Northerners are too sensitive with politics, Northerners don't respect God enough, Northerners have no Southern hospitality, Northerners don't have family values, and Northerners have no morals. She has made all these assumptions from one trip she took to New York City in 6th grade because a homeless man called her mother a bitch for ignoring his request for money." This has got to be some ridiculous stuff. I don't think Opie can be the a-hole here, but we'll move on with the story. "Madison is particularly critical of my boyfriend, who she has never even met before. Ever since finding out he was both from New Jersey and black, she has made many insensitive and rude assumptions about him. She has accused my boyfriend of being abusive, rude, ugly, ghetto, selfish, and many other negative things without ever actually meeting him. And she always goes on and on about how her country boy is God's gift to earth. She constantly tells me that I need to find a religious Southern man like she has. So, all in all, Madison is the worst, and I try to keep my distance from her by any means possible. Today, I was in meetings all morning. When I came back, Madison was crying, and the other lady was comforting her. As soon as I walked in, Madison told me through heavy sobbing that a girl had Instagram DM'd her to tell her that her boyfriend had been cheating with her for the past year. The girl only told her because he had just recently cheated on her with another girl, and she found out. Okay, so the country boy, the nice country boy, cheated on another girl with his okay, alright. After Madison told me all this, I said, looks like dating a country boy doesn't work out for everyone, and then I went to my lunch break. I honestly didn't really feel bad about it because I didn't think what I said was that rude, but the other lady from our office said that I was out of line with that comment. She doesn't like Madison either, but she thinks I took it too far. So now I'm torn. Am I the a-hole for mocking my coworker after her boyfriend of 3 years? Okay. Well, in this situation, even though she was being an a-hole up to the point where she was broken up with, when she found out that her boyfriend was cheating on her. I think at that point you should just pull back, like, on the witty remarks or whatever you can do to make them feel better, because you never know. Maybe OP might have her heart broken. Maybe she'll find herself in the same position as Madison, and she won't feel as good, and she won't feel like it's proper for Madison to be telling her this, like remarking on her losses. I think that's a very mean thing to do, and I don't think anybody should do that. But in a way, I kind of understand where OP is coming from, because Madison had treated the boyfriend like he was already a bad guy, even though Madison's never met him before. So I can kind of see where OP was going, but up until the point where she got cheated on, I feel like that's where Madison. That's where OP should have pulled it back and showed some compassion, showed some empathy for Madison, who just got her heart broken. But yeah, I think OP is the a-hole here in this situation, unfortunately. But I digress. Before moving on to the next story, I think I'll commentate some of this Minecraft gameplay right now. So I just got out of the cave that I was mining in. I got myself full iron armor. Now I'm just trying to get out and find a village, see if I can stay the night there, get some food around there. Oh, okay, here's a skeleton. These are new. I have not seen these kinds of skeletons before. Are these the type that drop like special arrows or something? I guess. I haven't played Minecraft since like 1.16 or something. I've only played with my friends on like multiplayer servers since then, and I haven't really gotten to see everything. Oh, okay, right. So they do have special arrows. I'm half HP now, so I think I'm gonna run away. I'll try and see if I can. I have no food whatsoever. This is pretty bad. Oh, okay, I think I see. Never mind. That's just lava. I thought that was a village, unfortunately. What can I do here? I don't know. I think I'm just. Oh, okay. There you go. There's a cow. Nice. Easy. Alright. I'm gonna try and kill some of these chickens as well. If the spider won't stop chasing me. Alright, I'm pretty low now. I need to eat something. I think I'm gonna get these chickens and try and set up on one of the trees with a smoker to cook the chicken, just to get more saturation points, but hopefully it works out and I don't die. Alright, while I'm doing this, I'm going to read. I'll go on to the next Reddit story. So this one is titled, "Am I the a-hole for siding with my friend after he cheated on his wife?" So the OP made a throwaway account for anonymity. Pretty shameful thing to do, which I think, I mean, it reflects on he doesn't want anybody to know that he wrote the Reddit post, so I think from that perspective, he's already feeling pretty guilty. So, but let's continue with the story. My 27M friend, 24M, and his wife have been married for 3 years and have 2 small babies. Recently, another woman reached out to his wife to tell her that a few years back, while they were living in separate states, while my friend was in the military, they slept together. This has caused a great deal of havoc to their marriage, and things have been super tense. However, the wife has been extremely toxic lately, and although I understand she is hurt, she is taking advantage of this situation to get her way on everything. Most recently, she basically guilt-tripped my friend into buying an expensive cat because, in her words, she deserves it. They already have 5 other cats and 2 small babies, and not a lot of economic resources to add another expensive cat into the mix. My buddy agreed as a way to keep the peace. He's trying to save his marriage, but at what cost? She's doing whatever she wants, leaving him the kids to go out late, making him do extra work around the house even though he works a very physical job, and now the whole cat situation. I told my wife the situation and how I think she's being unreasonable, but my wife says that his wife is probably very hurt and isn't dealing well with all the emotions that come from finding out that he cheated. As I said, I can empathize, but this is no excuse to treat my friend like dirt. There's a healthy and unhealthy way to deal with this situation, and she's choosing the unhealthy way to go about it and cause more damage. My wife is now mad at me. She said she will take the wife's side on everything and support her in whatever she needs. He's the one that messed up after all, and he needs to deal with the consequences of his actions. She says he should give her whatever she wants, but where do you even draw the line? When will he stop paying for a mistake from years ago? This has now created a rift between my wife and I, but I don't think I'm being the a-hole here for taking my friend's side. Look, I know what he did was awful, but two wrongs don't make a right, and she's just being spiteful and selfish, getting her way in everything she wants and guilting him into big decisions that will only hurt their family even more. Okay, I'll start with discussing the throwaway account again, because I think that's a pretty suspicious thing to do. You wouldn't make a throwaway account if you wanted, like, I get that maybe in the internet you do want some anonymity, you don't want people finding out who you are, but maybe making a throwaway account is just a way for him to distance himself away from the drama and not take accountability for what he's going to say in the story. And I think it's pretty crazy what he's saying in the story, regardless of the throwaway account, because obviously I think the wife is in the right. She's mad at him for supporting a cheater, basically, which I think is perfectly reasonable. The wife has nothing to be ashamed about, because her husband's the one that's being weird. OP is the one being the a-hole, in my opinion. I get supporting your friend, but at the same time, your friend has been married for a while, and his wife just found out that he cheated. So I would say that warrants a bit of empathy from the husband and a bit of empathy from you too, from OP, because why else would you support somebody who betrayed basically their life partner and just like be in their corner for it all? I would never have I would never have it in my conscience to support somebody who has been unfaithful, because regardless if they're my friend or whatever, I understand that some decisions I don't need to stick my nose into, but if I know that he's a cheater and I know that his wife did not know any of this for 3 years, and ever since they got married, like, she didn't know, I would be livid at my friend. I wouldn't be his friend anymore. But I guess that's just me. OP, I guess, doesn't really want to do that. He just basically wants to be who he is right now and support his friend, which is a pretty shitty thing to do. Regardless, let's move on to the next Reddit story here, titled, "Am I the a-hole for yelling at my mom when she acted like nothing happened after my dad cheated?" My parents have a great relationship. Well, that's what I thought before what happened. My 14F parents usually have friends over and always tell me I'm free to have friends over. So it wasn't a surprise when I unlocked the front door and could hear my dad and another woman in the kitchen. Since my dad usually calls my name when he hears me opening the door, I thought he probably didn't think I was home yet. I walked to the kitchen to greet my dad, but then I saw it. He kissed the woman on the cheek, a woman that wasn't my mom. Both of them were turned, facing away from the door, so they didn't see me. My dad proceeded to flirt with the woman until I threw my bag on the ground to get their attention. They pulled apart and Dad called out if that was me. I walked into the kitchen and greeted him and the woman, then I locked myself in my room for the rest of the afternoon. I only came out when my mom came home. I helped my mom put away her things and put her weekly flowers in a vase before turning to her and telling her what I saw. She stayed quiet for a moment, then told me that she'll take care of it and that I shouldn't worry about it anymore. A few days go by and nothing happens. There was no fight, no arguments, no sour faces at each other, no divorce. Nothing that would usually happen to cheaters in movies and stuff. It pissed me off how my mom could continue to joke with my dad after what he did and still cook for him. Yesterday, after dinner, when my dad went to bed and I went at her, demanding to know what's wrong with her and how she could go on living a life with my dad who cheated. She sighed and told me to drop it, but I didn't ask her why she wasn't getting a divorce and why she was putting up with my piece of shit dad. She glared at me and told me to watch my tone and to not disrespect my dad. Finally, I yelled at her, asking why she was defending him, and she told me that she'd explain everything once I cooled down. I told my brother, 17, the whole story so he could know the truth about my dad, but he seemed really irritated. He told me to shut up and not tell anyone else in the family about my dad. He said that if Mom said she'd handle it, she would. I told him she didn't and that they were still acting as if it happened. He glared at me and told me to calm down and talk to Mom like an adult if I wanted to act like one, instead of just yelling at her. He also called me an asshole for escalating the situation and making dinners awkward. I don't think I'm the a-hole, but whatever. Am I the a-hole? Right. I think this is really it's a really tough situation, obviously, especially when you're 14 and you feel like you haven't really seen how complicated human relationships can be. Maybe the mother has something planned for the father. Maybe the mother isn't like, maybe she does want to forgive him. Maybe they've talked through it together. But like, all in all, I think OP is the a-hole, especially for making such a rash decision and just yelling at her mom. Like, it wasn't her mom's fault that she doesn't, like, the mom doesn't want to get a divorce. That's her decision to make with her dad after they've had the right conversations about it and whatnot. Like, that's just something that her mom should deal with, especially when her mom said that she'd take care of it. Personally, I would just trust what my mom had said and not interfere with it any further, even if I think that was something wrong, like she was doing something wrong. But that's just me. I don't know how OP reacted. There are a few edits after this story that I think gives like context, but right now I'm standing firm in my decision to call OP the a-hole. My after-school activities got cancelled that day, and I didn't let my parents know beforehand, so they didn't expect me to be home so early. I'm just gonna add the timeline. I caught my dad Friday after school, told my mom Friday night after she came home from work, waited, then went at my mom Monday night, wrote this post an hour after yelling at her, talked to my cousin at 12 a.m., then apologized after school on Tuesday. Alright, I mean, from that edit, I think that makes it even worse. So she told her mom Friday night after she came home from work. Her mom was exhausted. She didn't want to deal with whatever was happening between her dad and his mistress or his coworker or whoever he cheated on. But her mom was probably tired from work. She yelled at her on Monday night, and then right after she wrote the post an hour after that incident. I think at that point she was trying to seek validation from people online, because why the hell else would you post something online about like your perspective unless you wanted people to validate how you responded? And I don't think OP in any way reacted responsibly in this situation. I mean, yeah, she's 14, so obviously she's confused about a lot of stuff, but it doesn't warrant her yelling at her mom. Like, that's just awful. So here's another edit to this story. I asked my dad about it, but he just avoided answering and told me that he and mom would talk to me about it after I cooled down. What do I have to cool down about? I don't know. Here's another edit. Going against what my brother said, I talked to my cousin about it since we're pretty close. Her cousin's 16 years old. Basically, she told me two things. Stop getting influenced by TikTok and Reddit, and say that they're in... her cousin said that they were in an open relationship. I asked how she knew for sure, and she told me to give my parents time to explain this, and that it took her mom a month before she finally sat her and my brother down after they caught her with a family friend. After asking, she told me this happened about 5 years ago. Never thought my aunt was like that. Okay, her cousin gave her more context. Like, she basically gave her the blueprint into how she should react to the news. Like, yeah, chill, and your parents, like your mom or your dad, they're both gonna say something to you, and they're going to explain the situation to you better. So you just need to cool down. I think this all happened in the span of like 48 hours, right? So she's probably still pent up with her emotions. She still thinks that everything was like crazy, and the only right way out of the situation is how she sees it. So I think she should just wait for a bit. I think Opie should just wait for a bit and cool down, chill off, because this isn't something that she should be worrying about, especially when she's 14 years old. And here's the last edit to the story. After sleeping it off and reading everyone's comments, I felt really guilty for yelling at my mom, and I know I deserve all those. You're the a-hole, lol. I apologized to my mom once I got home from school, and am now going to stay with my friend for a few days. Hopefully my parents will be ready to talk to me when I return. See? All she needed was time. All she needed was for her to sleep it off and deal with those pent up frustrations that she had against her dad. And that made her realize that, oh yeah, she overreacted. That was a pretty good ending to the story, though. It was a great conclusion. I think OP definitely learned something from not from like the whole situation, because now she knows not to overreact whenever something pisses her off, or something's happening with her parents. But yeah, I think that was a pretty good Reddit story. If you guys like these kinds of videos, please consider leaving a comment or subscribing, because that would greatly help me stay motivated doing this content, because so far I feel like I'm narrating for nobody and not a lot of people are watching my videos. So if you're there and you're watching the video, please leave a comment and subscribe. It takes you like 10 seconds, and it would greatly help me with my motivation, because it's been two videos, I know, but like I wish it had gotten a bit of traction. But yeah, well, I mean, you guys can see here I'm just building I'm building sort of my starter base, I guess. And now that I have full iron armor, I might go to the Nether next episode, or I might make an iron farm, because now I found a village. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.